Welcome, strangers.
Hello.
This is an extremely late stream now that I think about it, because it was like a week and a half ago that we did this open bar, and holy shit, man! I just haven't had a single spare night to do a catch-up stream. It's been shit.
Well, after I agreed to be on this show and the real BBC, it's gotten to the point where I'm struggling to get those free nights. We're actually finally catching up on EFAB with our Super Chat catch-up backlog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Just 10,000 more to go, and we're all done.
The way we solved it was by doing a dedicated day to catching them up and doing bonus offline streams. Just again and again and again until we finally get there.
I think offline is the way to go sometimes when you just really need to catch up.
Yeah.
I've never quite gotten to that point yet, but I've toyed with it once or twice. But it's always more fun when there's like a chat there's an audience. You know, it's a bit weird trying to perform when there's nothing going on, you know? It's like playing in an empty theater or something, you know? You need something.
Especially if you're on your own as well, like literally on your own.
Yeah.
Just like, well, because you say some exciting thing and nobody's there, and you're like, oh, right then.
Yeah. I'll pretend that people are excited.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I look more bearded than usual. Yeah, I haven't trimmed it recently, so it's a bit heavier. But it is starting to get kind of annoying, so I'll need to do something about that. But anyway, you will catch up. Just don't let people talk to you. There we go. Yeah. No talking. I have to say as well. Did you see the tweets going out from OneRing.net about, like, you know, just ignore the toxic YouTube takes. Just let us consume mindlessly.
It's just we know this the whole cycle. It's Lord of the Rings. It's time for Lord of the Rings. It's entering the world of, you know, getting destroyed as an IP. It's like, welcome. You're among so many other IPs, the graveyard of IPs.
Yeah. It's
and they know that too, by the way. They're like, oh, we've seen this before, where all the angry fanboys make their little videos, and it's like, yeah, well, I mean
what's the connection there? It's almost like people make shit follow-ups to once great franchises and kind of ruin them, and weirdly fans get annoyed about it. I just don't understand
know what that's about. Never understood it. Weird.
Yeah, I think I basically said, like, toxic takes equals like stuff that we don't agree with. Basically, when people have opinions that we don't like, it's toxic. Clearly,
it's so annoying. But yeah, Lord of the Rings is next. Simple as that.
Yeah. It's almost fun. It's like watching a Viking funeral or something. You know, you can just sit back with a beer, watch it burn. There's a kind of satisfaction to be had.
I say it's next. Not really. Kenobi's next.
I mean, yeah, but he's just part of the larger Star Wars brand, isn't he? That's already been, like, bent over a table.
Still, I'd never underestimate them. Who knows? By the time that show's over, we'll be talking on stream just like this about how we never thought that show would be so bad. Never in a million years.
Looking back to, like, young, naive us from today.
He was just a guy on Tatooine, just mind his own business. How did they manage to fuck it up so much? Like, yeah, I know.
Oh, well. Should we see if we can go through some of these outstanding chats then?
Yeah.
All right. The first one I think that was new was from Craig Road Jr., who said, "Am I the only one who's mad about the female John Wick movie being greenlit?" I mean, I don't think you're the only one who's mad about it, but I didn't know much about it. Is there a female John Wick happening?
Is it Halle Berry's character? Are they doing it with her, or?
I don't know. Let's see.
Jane Wick?
Yeah. What have we got here? The female John Wick movie you won't want to miss. That one updates from 2021. Yeah, so that's like from a year ago. It's an article from Looper. So it's it's not really her, is it? Yeah, they got Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Right, so
not the best motivation to make a story, though. But all right.
So, it's just Gunpowder Milkshake they're talking about here. So, right. Yeah, that can't be it then. I don't know. Maybe people in chat know a bit more about this.
Yeah, I thought they meant like an actual thing in universe of it being in the John Wick universe, but it was about a girl instead or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. So yeah, I could have done with a Halle Berry spin-off. You know, it's always nice to see her on screen. But yeah, I don't know much about Gunpowder Milkshake though. I'd be lying if I said I was a massive fan of Lena Headey. To be fair, I think Game of Thrones just ruined me on her.
I think she got progressively less interesting in Game of Thrones because Cersei became too almost archetypal instead of doing anything interesting anymore.
Yeah, they didn't even give her an opportunity to show facial expressions. She was kind of just standing on a balcony, like with a glass of wine, just kind of looking a bit mildly pissed off.
And she's, she just makes a couple decisions and then she's waiting to be killed. Really, it's like, all right.
Yeah, fuck. Next one was Marksman of 117B, who said, "Allow me to finish Chris Gore's phrase. When a man and a woman love each other very much, Dad sits in the corner and Matt from Tinder gets things done."
Oh my.
Is this where we were talking about Wanda, how she should just put herself on Tinder?
Maybe.
It's like, you want 2 kids? It's probably not that hard to arrange looking the way you do.
Dude, loads of people made that joke because it's just like, yeah, why did nobody bring this up? I mean, I know it sounds a little maybe childish, I don't know, but it's just like, so we're like, well, there are ways you could have kids.
And yeah, you know, I think it's kind of weird as well. Like, she wants to magic those 2 kids into existence or take over, you know, them from a different universe. And they're already like at least 10 years old. You've missed out 10 years of their lives. You know, doesn't that matter to you? Wouldn't you want to see them like as little babies and stuff and actually watch them grow up?
I'd say what you're accidentally highlighting is just the fact that they wanted to skip them to an age that's more sympathetic than just have it, because like the kids can express and complain and sing to her so that you can get them manipulated easier.
Yeah, what kid fucking sings to their parents because they want ice cream? They'd be just like throwing stuff around the room. Like, because they never act like dicks either, as kids do.
No, and
you know, like, Mom, I fucking hate you. Let me play on the fucking Nintendo Switch.
I peed everywhere, Bob.
Yeah. It's like you never get to see the difficult aspects of parenting, and it's all just like roses and beautiful and perfect and everything. It's like, fuck off. It's not reality.
I remember in the cinema when I saw the singing scene, I was just like, oh, I know. They're so perfect, and she loves them so much. This will be great to prime me before she fucking kills all the Illuminati. Yeah, that's great.
I mean, yeah, imagine if she had succeeded and taken over, right? And the first time those kids start acting up and piss her off, like she just like, you know, turns them into spaghetti or something. Like evil Wanda.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, she would, you know what she'd do? She'd just vaporize them and be like, nah, I'll go into a different universe where they're nicer.
I'll try
and just like keep portaling until she finds good ones.
That's what it meant by she'll destroy the universe. She kills every version of her kids over and over and over.
I'm not stopping until I find well-behaved children. Well, you're going to be waiting a long time. JB said, Marvel takes every chance to demean the fans for caring about their fictional characters. Did you feel things in Endgame? Then fuck you, it didn't matter. That is very true. Everything they were fighting for, you know, the Infinity Stones and everything, they don't matter now. Loki just shat all over them.
Remember, Falcon and the Winter Soldier shat on both Cap and Iron Man. They said Cap forgot Sharon Carter just because he just did. And then Iron Man didn't look after anybody in the Avengers. It was like, they're dead now, so I guess you can just shit all over them.
Yeah. It's so... What did you call it? It was like shitting on the shoulders of giants or something. It's kind of where you're at now.
Yeah, and they get to dance then as well, while smearing the shit into themselves. You're just like, yeah, look at you go. You're proud of yourself, aren't you?
Stinkelmeister said, congrats to Az for outliving his abuser. Press S to stomp on the grave of the cultural icon that is Batwoman. I think, he's a scarred man after Batwoman. The wounds run deep. And his other favorite show, Naomi, got cancelled as well. So, damn, I don't know what Az is going to do.
Hey, you might even have to watch something good. I don't know.
I'll just watch Star Trek or something. He'll start doing like Discovery reviews or something. Next one is Legacy, who says, remember when Loki's magic turned Odin's dad into snow, but guards with sticks? That's a different story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking TVA. Cerebral Palsy Biker gave me $5. Thanks, man. Legacy also said, I don't like Reed Richards with a beard. I didn't mind. I think beards are just John Krasinski's thing right now, aren't they?
I'll allow the beard. My issue comes with characterization. Okay, it's the bigger problem. When he was like, I understand what it's like to lose your children. It's like fucking Reed. She doesn't even have kids. She's stealing them from other people.
Yeah, and when she asks them about do their kids have a mother? Yes. Is she alive? Yes. He should have said no, and they're really lonely, and like if I die,
they'd be so upset. You have no idea.
They're going to be ruined. As if Wanda would just be like, "Oh, I guess I won't kill you then."
Well, the thing is, she doesn't have to kill anybody. She can turn them all into little, like, chickens temporarily if she wanted to, but she doesn't because she's an asshole.
Yeah, she could freeze them. Yeah, just freeze them in time or something for like 10 minutes, just so she can do what she needs to do. Yeah, Az can watch Obi wank Kenobi. He can indeed. I mean, that'll be fodder for him, I should think. Tony Vanucci, who says, I can never get his name right. Chiwetel Ejiofor wasted. What a crime.
I think it's Chiwetel Ejiofor is how you're supposed to say it.
I'll go with that. I'm Scottish. Like I can't say these names. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, another good actor, just fucked over.
I mean, he was wasted in Doctor Strange, the first one, to an extent. I was because I was trying to explain this on the EFAB. Like, he's worse in this, but I still was annoyed with what they did with him in the first one. I don't think they justified. Like, I can't remember if you remember, but they saved the world from being eaten by the Dark Dimension with the Time Stone, and he's like, "Wow, you've broken the rules by doing that." And it's like, bro, come on now.
Yeah, he even goes to that guy who got healed and just like takes it away from him, so he's paralyzed again. It's just to be an absolute fanny.
Yeah, he's like, there's too many sorcerers. And it's like, that just seems stupid. Like, it doesn't. I'm not following you there, really. I could understand you wanting to take powers off people who are reckless, but the guy was living life, ignoring literally everybody. He was just doing his thing. It's like, and you came after him for that. It's like, I'm not following you. Maybe they realized that, and that's why they just didn't use him. But there's a chance there to repair him and to give that fucking actor some material. He deserves it. I don't know if you've seen him in some of his best stuff, but he knows what he's doing. He's
he was in 12 Years a Slave, wasn't he?
I think he may have got an Oscar for that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, that was... yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Good guy. David L. posing us the ultimate question. Which had better writing, Batwoman or Doctor Strange 2? Mediocrity rises. Hail.
I'm sorry, but Doctor Strange 2 is one of the worst written things I've ever experienced. Like, it... Yeah, Batwoman was probably better because it has scenes where characters can move from one place to another, and I don't take issue with it. Doctor Strange manages to fail that.
ORJ said someone was praising Doctor Strange 2 and said it was a fantastic addition to the MCU with good cameos. However, don't expect an engaging story.
When did we get to this point? We were like, oh, it's a great addition. Just ignore the script. You're like, what?
Yeah. You might as well just say it had bright, pretty colors and some fun things that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Story, don't know, didn't care.
Don't know.
The Wall says they have no originality and they're stealing things from older movies. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, stab the book, stabby, 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 page. I guess. I mean, that was kind of more of a reference to the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead movies, wasn't it? Because they have to destroy that by stabbing it at one point?
I can't remember how they destroy the Necronomicon in either of the in the Evil Dead franchise, to be fair, but I know that it's been very unsatisfying for a lot of people that just a normal knife into it destroys the whole thing. It's just like, oh.
Yeah. So it feels like it should have been destroyed many times over before this point, but yeah.
Yes.
Fred Ward passed away the other day.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Indeed, he was awesome. Really liked him as an actor, and I'll always love him for Tremors. Yeah, for Doctor Strange, it jangled keys. I clapped. I think that's pretty much it. That's what it comes down to.
Solidly in that era now.
Pablo Cabrera said, "MCU estrogen is a hell of a drug." It is. Gives you the power to do anything and get away with anything, apparently. Double Black again says, and this crap will do 800 million. I mean,
Probably.
It dropped 82% in its first week, so damn, man, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it will reach 800s. Like, that's not a particularly high benchmark considering how massive an opening it had.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think a lot of that crazy opening weekend was just the sheer enthusiasm for Doctor Strange, I guess, and the assumption that it would be funny and smart and really engaging story. How naive we were.
Kind of fascinating, because if it is, this drop off is a result of people being like, yeah, I don't think I'll be seeing that again. It's like it could be that, because No Way Home apparently was super rewatchable for people.
Yep. That's it. I mean, how many of these Marvel fanboys will go and watch their favorite movies like 3-4 times? You know, how much crazy revenue do they make from stuff like that? And if it's not happening now, man, it shows you what the audience really is. The Intern of War says, it's good to see the writers they fired from doing the comics got jobs writing the new MCU. Yeah, indeed. Fucking aye. Legacy said, XJ9, Jenny Wakeman, is one of the best female characters with the most humanity and heroic values than the MCU, and Jenny is not even human. What is XJ9?
Don't know.
Hold on. Is it a comic book thing? XJ9. Oh no, so right. My life as a teenage robot. So yes. It's an animated show.
Oh.
Don't know much about that. But yeah, it's got 94% rating on like the audience rating. Must be pretty good then, I assume. All right. Blue Tiger says, is America Chavez's arch nemesis going to be the Wasp? That's pretty good. Yeah, fucking bee that triggered her powers. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even sting her. They're not even scary. What the fuck? I mean, I said this to you before. When you first told me about this, I was like, oh, she must have got, attacked by an entire hive's worth of bees at one time and almost died, and she had an abiding fear of them. And you're like, nope, just landed on her arm. That might have been the first wasp she ever saw in her life, or a bee or whatever.
And it's like, yeah, well, how do we write a moment in a child's history that was traumatic? And it's like, are you kidding? That's the best you could come up with? Jeez. It makes you think, like, have you had a pampered life where the worst thing that ever happened to you was seeing an insect? Like, oh, I mean,
no. It's a modern TV/movie writer, so I think you could probably assume yes. But yeah, I mean, damn, even Moon Knight handled childhood trauma a little better. Yeah. It gave him something.
I would go as far as saying they had a bit of balls on that one.
Could you imagine if her two mums were abusing her? Could you imagine the reaction?
Again, I would be impressed. I'd be like, wow, you did that. Good for you, Marvel. I never would have thought you'd try that.
There would have been so much rage on social media, it would have actually caused a portal to open. Just through the sheer power of their rage. Primer says, with every new Disney Plus Marvel show and every Phase 4 MCU film, films like The Incredible Hulk are starting to look masterpieces in comparison. I mean, that's kind of where you're at, isn't it? Like, I'd be interested to rewatch The Incredible Hulk, because I think I watched it once when it first came out, and I never had much interest after that. But it probably has aged better than I think.
It's the kind of mediocre and bad we used to get. It's a long gone era where the skill floor, if you will, of movies was much higher. But now it's like just crashing through, and we're in the fucking soil. The shit.
Yep. In amongst the shit. Jesse said every movie is just a bigger and bigger stakes with bigger villains. The MCU needs to focus on characters and just breathe. They just want that Infinity War money. That's kind of what it is. And I don't know. Did Rags make a point about this where it's like, okay, you've now raised it to the point where in this movie, the entirety of all reality across every multiverse was at stake.
Well,
where can you go now?
That's it. Because well, when Galactus shows up and he's like, "I'm going to eat Earth," it's like, well, that's bad. Like,
it's like in The Simpsons where they go to Australia and like Homer's like, "Oh, can I get one of those really big beers that you get in Australia?" And it's like puts like a 3-pinter down in front of him, and Homer's like, "It's pretty big, I guess." It's like...
I guess so, yeah. It's like when Galactus is like, the Earth is in peril, I'm going to destroy it. It was like an Avengers film. It's just going to be like, well, yeah, that's bad. That is a bad thing, I guess.
But it's like, yeah, we've faced this like 50 times already. Like you're not really that special.
They capped it out. All of the multiverse was at stake in this movie. So yeah, it's only down now. You literally can't get higher than that.
Big Flippin' Boss said, "Hail Drinker and Mauer. Wanted to say that I think the Act Man would be an awesome guest to have for an open bar." I don't know, but would he? Have you spoken to him before? The Act Man.
Oh yeah, he's been on EFAP one time, like 2 years ago.
All right.
We may have him on to talk about Halo soon.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, he probably likes movies. Everyone does.
Yeah, that'll be my opening gambit. I'll message him. Do you like movies?
He says no, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to come on anyway?
Talk about how you don't like movies.
We've worked with less. Arjuna Solace gave me $5 so thank you very much, matey. Alpha Suma said, support indie developers. Check out Mystery Incorporated on YouTube. All right, there you go, Mystery Incorporated. The Wall says, to be fair, the movie version of America Chavez is still smarter than the comic book version. At least she didn't look at her cat after it got turned into road pizza and ask the cat what's wrong. I want to see that panel. Just staring at a cat that's been mashed into the road, like, hey, what's wrong? Oh, Jesus. I love comic books. Primer said, Captain Marvel getting thwarted by a statue has the same energy as Superman getting knocked down with a bathroom sink. How embarrassing. At least he'd been kryptonited there, so he was kind of vulnerable, I suppose.
I've seen the theory, and I think this is it. This is the one that answers all the questions. Captain Marvel's actually quite smart, and she realized that she will never breach Wanda's plot armor, so she just played dead. She was like, I'm out, you got me.
I just give up.
What the fuck is the point in fighting you?
Oh, jeez.
By the way, Red Letter Media have uploaded their final episode review of Picard. Have you seen how they're dressed in that video?
No, I haven't seen it yet. What?
I think they're supposed to be dressed as clowns. Like, they look hilarious, I assume, because that's how they feel as a result of consuming this show. We're in such a weird fucking culture right now where it's just like everybody's basically agreed, like, our entertainment sucks.
I know, and at times you maybe you do this as well, but I find myself like I step back and I'm like, okay, have we all just got caught up in this tidal wave of groupthink? Like, okay, everything's shit, clearly it is, and you just expect it to be in store. That's naturally then what you find when you watch it. But then I do actually just try and watch things with a charitable mindset, and I get the same result. It's like, no, it is shit. And especially if I watch older stuff and I'm like, yeah, this is infinitely more entertaining than what I get given now.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, whenever I watch, we were mentioning before we went live, the Aliens, but like whenever I watch that again, I'm like, ooh, I could make a video on this actually. And I'm like, no, I'm busy shitting on new things.
If you ever just wanted a bit of like positivity, though, it's like, yeah, you could give that an unbridled praise. I think you'd have a good time with it.
I think I'll do that someday. I wouldn't mind doing like a run through of Alien as a franchise, because it'd be funny to go through like Resurrection and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh god. Shit. And then finally go through Prometheus and be like, one of the earliest examples.
Yeah, that's true. I remember I was talking to Dank about Alien 3.
Yeah.
We actually had a pretty good laugh with that one. I think our favorite moment, and it's meant to be a really like, you know, traumatizing moment for Ripley. It's when she gets cornered by like a lot of the guys, who basically want to rape her, and they've like, you know, beaten her up a bit and knocked her down, and like one guy gets his rape goggles on. Like he actually pauses to put these things on, and he just goes like, ah. I just love it. He needs that to get in the mood, really set the tone.
Yeah. Alien 3 is a mixed bag. It's a weird one.
It is. It's not I guess it's just not an enjoyable movie to watch. Like, it's so relentlessly grim and dark and bleak and depressing and hopeless. It's like, Christ, it's a real slog to get through, you know, not counting all the other like problems with it.
But hey, back in the day, that was the first time I saw Charles dance, and I was like, this guy, I like him.
He's going places.
Yeah.
I could see him getting crossbowed on the toilet one day.
The peak of your career would be that.
He's got, even then, like, he's obviously a much younger man then, but he's still got that same gravitas about him, you know.
That voice.
It's like he was just born old.
Well, super charismatic though, so make him young enough. He's probably a fucking lady killer.
Oh yeah. TR said, "Isn't Reed Richards' kid a god thanks to the anti-material rod? After Sue had pregnancy issues, Wanda should be screwed." I don't know what the deal is there. I don't have enough knowledge of the comics, so I couldn't tell you.
Neither do I.
I mean, to be fair, even if that was the case, I don't think anyone involved with this film would have given a shit. It's like, we'll just put Reed Richards in there and kill him. Nothing else matters. Penis Von Lesbian says, "Was it a statue of Edward Colston that crushed her?"
Well, a lot of people have talked about what is the statue of, because if it's Captain Marvel, like Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, that's fucking hilarious. If that was it. I don't know though. I don't know what they would go for.
How much would the people have cheered though if it had been Brie Larson's Captain Marvel that got crushed?
I mean, the fact that you get given a new Captain Marvel, you're like, all right, let's see what this one's all about. Smug bitch. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, you couldn't have made it different.
It's like it's almost like when you take on that mantle, you have to take on the asshole personality as well. It's bizarre.
I talked to you about it, but that fucking line, man, where she's like, Doctor Strange trying to save the universe in the Darkhold. He didn't find a solution, but he kept looking. I can picture him being there. Like, well, yeah, I did.
Like, it's like, trying to describe, like, you know, stoic heroism, you know, like in negative terms. It's bizarre.
I feel bad for both Defender Strange and Superior Strange. Both of those men deserve better.
Why do these movies hate him so much?
I don't know.
Garfield Logan says, in the next movie, Moon Knight walks into the room and says, "Somehow Wanda returned." I can see it. She's not dead. There's no fucking way she's dead. She will absolutely be back.
I would be surprised if they don't bring back this specific Wanda and try to redeem her, because that's going to be, in their minds, the challenge, and they'll do it horribly. But I suppose there's a chance that she is dead and they'll bring back a multiversal one, a different one, maybe even the Wanda that was, you know, injured, or the Illuminati one. I don't know. But yeah, you're absolutely fucking right. There's no way Elizabeth Olsen is done with the MCU. No way.
King316 says, Captain Marvel, the woman who can punch through spaceships and survive an Infinity Stone-fueled punch to the face, dies from a statue. Yeah, absolutely. When we got to this scene on EFAP like last night, we just absolutely tore it to shreds, man. We spent, honestly, it must have been 15 minutes discussing all of the ways that she could have instantly killed Wanda. And like none of
Yeah.
us are fans of Captain Marvel, but even we recognize like, okay, well, you've set up this character who's essentially just Superman without the kryptonite. Yeah, here's all the ways she should have just easily won that fight within a second.
And you could have spaghettified her, dissolved her, blown her up, and we would have been like, all right, then I guess you can do that. But no, you dropped a statue on her. And it's like, that doesn't work.
Chuckman says, in World War Hulk, Hulk fights the Illuminati. Each one attacks him in a different and unique way, and he in turn dispatches them uniquely. Wish we would have at least gotten that from Multiverse of Madness. Shame. I mean, to be fair, she does dispatch them in a unique way each time. It's just each one is equally dumb.
What's nuts to me is that I don't know if we're ever going to get an MCU fight that's interesting ever again because of how insane everyone's power levels are, and nobody has any clue what's happening. One of the best fights in the entire MCU, and you're going to like this, Drinker, is Bucky versus Cap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a simple fucking knife fight because of the fact that they're both fast, they're both strong, and so we can understand what's happening here and what the stakes are.
I like the fight, the final one between Peter and
Vulture
and Green Goblin.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Plenty of emotion behind it. No crazy moves or anything. Just a good old fashioned brawl.
Sorry, maybe I was being a bit harsh there because like the first and second fight he has with Green Goblin, I like quite a bit when they crash through multiple floors and how raw a lot of the hits are. It's like, I don't know what else to say, but John Watts gave us something there. Because I don't know if you've seen the behind the scenes him directing that, but it took a lot to get that the way that it was.
Right.
Meanwhile, it's like who's gonna win? Monica Rambeau versus fucking, I don't know, this creature that can travel shadow dimensions. You'd be like, I have no idea.
I've said this before, like about the whole concept of, Wanda and Strange and all that. Like once you bring in magic into it and you don't really have any defined rules for what it can do or how it operates, fucking anything could happen at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like take something simple like that bit where he fights the giant squid monster and it throws a bus at him and he just magics a giant saw blade to cut the bus in half. Like imagine if he just used that on Wanda and sliced her in half. Like, there's an endless number of questions about all of these things. Like, why couldn't this thing that only gets deployed once in the whole movie get used against this person? And that's what you're always going to come up against now. Anything could get pulled out of the writer's arses at any moment. Things that should work just don't get used for no apparent reason. Like, what are you supposed to...
We would watch Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and be like, right, so he's got the big ass laser, he's got like arm missiles, he's got regular like sort of guns, I think they were like ballistic missile, the smaller ones on his shoulders, he's got the normal repulsors and a couple of other things. And then with every film he gets like a new weapon here and there, and we understand it. But remember him and Thor when they have their first fight? Iron Man pretty much uses all of that on Thor and none of it works because like Thor's a fucking god. And then Thor lights him up with lightning as a power that we know, and it charges up his suit. It's like, that's awesome. This is just fun.
Yeah, it's like as Jarvis says to him, it's like power cells are like 300% now. He's like, cool, let's use it. It's like blast Thor with it.
Wow. How about that?
It's like
the first Avengers is going to age like wine compared to everything else we're getting.
Yeah. Legacy says, I just want a rich mentality. Sorry. I think what you meant to say was mentally unstable mercenary dressed in white punches werewolves and all kinds of crazy crap. I hate the mummy suit. It's not a good look.
The mummy suit?
Yeah, I guess he's talking about Moon Knight.
Oh.
So I like that. I think he's got a good look to him. I hate like Mr. Knight, where he's just like Steven's personality in that mode. I think that just looks shit.
I think everyone was expecting that Mr. Knight was going to be a suave character, and then it's like he's not. And it's like,
now, this is what I understand from the comic books, that Steven in the comics is not this goofy like beta male asshole that you see. He's meant to be like a Bruce Wayne type. He's like a billionaire, and he is the suave, sophisticated one. Mark is the kind of ruthless mercenary type, so they both kind of complement each other's personalities. Like they both got strengths and weaknesses, and they can be deployed in different situations. Whereas in this one, yeah, you couldn't have two really competent characters like that. You had to turn it into a joke, at least partially. And that's why you've got this version of Steven who's just a complete clown throughout the entire run of the show, which is nice.
I just wouldn't have handled it the way that they have it all. There's some stuff I like in Moon Knight as a show, but I don't really like Mark or Steven. I guess I like Mark a little bit. I don't even know anymore.
I mean, at least Mark is somewhat capable of doing things. Like if there's a fight or whatever, he can kind of handle himself. Although he becomes progressively less competent somehow as the show goes on, which I don't get. But yeah, okay. Rack says, I hate key jangling cameos, and that's why I really like the scene where Wanda kills all of the Illuminati. I mean, they literally were just brought in for that.
Yeah, like the fun, enjoyable version of that for me is if they had it be like a bunch of the sort of new canon characters are all brought in, like a bunch of fucking and they're all like alternative versions, and they're all just people nobody gives a fuck about, and they all just get wiped out. Like I could see that being funny, but Reed Richards after this log, it's just like, okay.
Say they'd had the balls to bring in like Ironheart. And you know, female Hulk and stuff, and
they're all really high and mighty. They're all like, we're the best fucking team there is.
Yeah. Then that kind of might have worked. Swanning about Skimia, keep it up, super sticker. So thanks, man. Dragovin08 says, wait, shouldn't it be Anubis guiding him and not the hippo goddess, since Anubis is the god of the dead? That is true, yes. Dude, but hippos are funny, so.
I was dying for Anubis to show up, and then I was like, why would I want him to show up, actually? Why?
Yeah.
No,
just look him up. Janet Baker says, all my favorite men here at once. Amazing. Have you gents considered bringing on ladies from Midnight's Edge Toxic Femininity show? They're big fans of all of you. Yeah, I mean, we could. Like, I'm always happy to bring on new people, so yeah. United Engines of America says, hey Drinker, what do you think of the Fallout series, and what would happen if cancel culture dies off? I think we'd all be happier if cancel culture died off, to be fair. Yeah, I like the Fallout series generally. I've even got like a suit of the power armor there in my display case, which you probably can't see. It's maybe a little bit dimly lit, but it's fucking awesome. And yeah, most of the games have been generally pretty fucking fun. I love the world that they created. I love the sort of aesthetic of it, like that retro futurism, and I love the dark sense of humor that it's got. So yeah, I like Fallout. Excuse me. Mr. Tickle Trunk says Trojan horse content. Fat Steven Seagal. I think that's what he must have said at some point. Is that just what this is when we talk about shows like or movies like Multiverse of Madness, where it's like a bait and switch? I assume it's called Doctor Strange, but really it's just a Wanda show.
Yeah, it seems like it's starting to get it's creeping in more and more, this weird bait and switch thing.
Veteran Redbeard says, hey Drinker, could you do a video on the Boondock Saints? The critics hate it, but audiences love it, and it's an awesome movie, arguably the best vigilante movie of all time. Yeah, so I have seen it now, and yeah, it was quite fun. If you can buy Norman Reedus and his Irish accent, then good on you.
Yeah, there is that.
I like the style of it. How you know, a lot of the crime scenes, you kind of see the aftermath first, and then like you get the flashbacks to explain how it fucking happened, and how some of it is just sheer blind luck.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was quite good. Willem Dafoe just acting up an absolute storm in that movie. He swung for the fences in that one.
He did.
Lloyd Buckley says, just watch Strange New World and it sucks. Yeah, I've not heard anything good about it, to be fair. Did you really expect anything else? I mean, it's made by the same people who did Discovery and Picard. What else could it be?
Yeah.
It's when I saw the picture of Spock, right? You know, the fifth guy to play Spock. And, you know, like in the original series, they've got these kind of weird, like tapered sideburns. and they go down a little bit. I guess it's just the style at the time. His ones go like way down to there and practically curl round into a fucking like waxed mustache or something. It's the most ridiculous thing. It just looks like some weird parody, and I think that probably sums up the whole show, really. Mr. Nobody says, to paraphrase Drinker's Game of Thrones review, that's the dramatic irony of this scene, you see. After a lifetime of looking at statues, she ultimately gets crushed by one.
There you go. It all lines up.
It is. It's like poetry. It rhymes. Astro Nerd Boy says, and this is for $100. Thanks, mate. I remember being so excited at the idea of MCU TV shows. Then they happened. Now MCU movies, apart from Spider-Man No Way Home. Nevertheless, thanks for all you do. Your reviews are awesome. Thank you very much, man. And hey, if you want good MCU TV shows, watch Daredevil. And probably watch The Punisher as well, although season 2 was a bit rocky. But yeah, they're genuinely good. Daniel French says, Drinker, watch the Indian movie RRR. It's good. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Trucker Mark says, good news, I got my Drinker plushie. Cheers. Yay, they've all arrived now.
Sweet.
Mr. Rock says, just watch Doctor Strange. Wow, they just keep getting worse. Yep, don't expect that to change. Actually, if I asked you to compare this, we'll leave No Way Home out of this, right?
All right.
So compare it to The Eternals,
Haven't seen it.
Black Widow, and compare it to Black Widow and Shang-Chi. Would you say it's worse than those?
I thought you knew how I felt.
I want you to like make it clear to everyone watching, I suppose.
So Black Widow's got really bad world building where it tries to slot in the stupid fucking Black Widow program. None of it makes any sense. The way that the organization came together according to that film means that the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. just didn't give a shit to check that it actually was destroyed after Dreykov died. It completely assassinates Black Widow's character. It invents a whole bunch of stuff that couldn't possibly exist there. It's got an insane level of contrivances, plot holes, and then you got a couple of immoral moments where, like, burying all those people in the snow and not giving a shit because they're prisoners. We've decided that prisoners can just be executed because fuck it, who cares?
They're bad, Muller. They're bad.
Yeah, and so conclusion is like everything is bad in it, and it's just really bad. And I said it's worse than Captain Marvel, which was my previous pick, I think, for worst MCU movie. This movie does all of those things and then on steroids. Like it's the kind of when you say S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't check that Dreykov's organization went down with him, it's like that's stupid and bad. But when you say incursion events happen as a result of America Chavez even existing in our universe, and she is happily at the end of the movie, it's like do you even know what your script said? I don't even know that you do. And that kind of issue, there's like 100 of those. It's absolutely insane. For anybody in chat who's seen the 10 hours of all of us on EFAB talking about every single problem in that movie, we missed several. One of the ones I regret that we didn't mention was when Professor X says, just because somebody stumbles doesn't mean they can't get back up. Which makes no fucking sense coming from him, because first of all, you killed your friend for stumbling. You fucking eviscerated him. You didn't give him a second chance at all, even though he renounced the Darkhold and saved the universe. So fuck you. But secondly, what the hell did this Strange do? Why are you saying that to him? He hasn't fucked up at all. You're minority reporting him for something his alter ego did in a different universe, which, by the way, everyone has the potential to be evil in an alternate universe. That's the nature of the multiverse. So it's just like, what is this shit dialogue? That's like, and this is the thing. These characters exist for like seconds, like Professor X, Reed Richards, Black Bolt, whoever else, and they like destroy those characters in just a couple of lines. They make them absolutely fucking brain dead. Professor X spends his whole time explaining why they may have to kill Doctor Strange, and then he says, Stephen, should you escape this facility, you must get the book to save the... And it's like, what? Like,
there's your rewrites right there and your reshoots. You know, how else are we going to get him out of this? Fucking no, he just changes his mind.
Yeah, so obliterates all the characters. The world building is catastrophically bad. Like it's like Loki levels of bad. There's a hell of a lot of contrivances and holes. It's the same thing as Black Widow, but there's even more and bigger issues. Therefore, It is the most incoherent script in the MCU, as far as I'm concerned.
It's tough to argue, to be fair. Alex Estera said, liberal Obi-Wan apologizes for calling Tusken Raiders sand people because he has too many connections to burn bridges in a desolate world. I mean, he's got to recognize his privilege, really. Obi-Wan has had it too easy thus far, so yeah, he needs to learn. I'm sure he will. I'm sure they'll teach him many lessons in the course of this show. Terry Butler said, it may be directed at children, but The Bad Guys was actually better than I expected. I would call it exemplary in spite of its simple writing. Fair play. Hot Cocoa Films said, when asked why they put Mando in Book of Boba Fett, Filoni stated that he and Jon Favreau liked him and that he knows Boba, so it would only make sense. Wow.
You know what? I even think that's a lie. The conversation would have been, if we put Mando in it, more people will watch it. Yeah, okay, how many episodes can we get him for? It's like, is it 3 or is it 2 they get him for? I can't remember.
I feel it was almost more like we've got like 8 episodes to fill and we can't think of anything else to do with Boba Fett. What can we do? Well, Mando's available. I suppose we could just do a few episodes with him. Yeah, okay.
Oh shit, I forgot. There's that theory though, because the first episode with Mando has no Boba in it, and it's because it's Mando season 3, episode 1, if you remember.
Yeah.
He gets a new ship. He sorts out his connection with Baby Yoda's been reestablished in terms of a quest. He talks to the lady about his new quest of becoming like the king of Mandalore or whatever. And it's just like, why the hell is all of this in my Boba Fett show? What's going on? It's like, well, I can explain that. They started filming season 3 and then something went bad with fuck, why am I forgetting his name? Din Djarin, actor for Game of Thrones and all that.
Is Pablo? No, Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, yeah. He presumably, because I remember reading about how he didn't like playing Mando because he kept the bucket on too much, right? So, yeah, something probably went wrong, and then they were like, well, as long as we can get 2 or 3 episodes out of him, we'll fill the rest with the Boba Fett season. And it was pathetic.
It was. Easy E says, Darth Vader, you have disappointed me. Force chokes the strong female Inquisitor. Harder, Daddy. I mean, yeah, maybe she'll be into that kind of thing.
He'd be lucky to kill anybody in this show. I don't know what they're going to do with him.
Yeah. Genmai Cha says, Drinker, looking forward to your new book. Also, recommendation for Korean zombie show lovers. Kingdom, 1600s Korea, zombie apocalypse, snazzy hats. What's not to like? I'm in. Izzy Ingraselli says, Drinker, in preparation for your new book, I've decided I should probably read your series first. Super good so far. I was also expecting your name to be a little more Scottish. I don't know, something like Dalhousie or something. I mean, what can I say, man? I got the name that I got given. I just got to work with it. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Christian Acevedo says, Star Wars, a hotel story. Might as well. Dr. Fauci's prison boss says we need to always call her Ray Palpatine, not Ray. Yeah, I'm down with that.
It's fine with me.
Snarf says, a new smug and annoying Captain Marvel is in Strange 2. Yes, she is. Don't worry, though. She gets what's coming to her.
The statue.
Yeah. The Uber Greek says, do you think Top Gun Maverick is worth getting excited for? I think it is. I've got a good feeling about this one, weirdly. Yeah, I'm going to go see it on the 26th, I think. So should hopefully a review just after that. Diano says, Doctor Strange 2, an alternate reality where Hayley Atwell does not have an ample bosom. No, I refuse to accept that any version of her is like that. That's the sad thing about this. Like, seeing her on screen again, it just made me really happy. I don't know what to say. She just brings that out in me. Hayley Atwell just seems like,
she's a nice good actress. She's got a great voice. She's gorgeous. Yeah. So it's like, can you maybe do a good story with her? That'd be nice. It's
a shame that Agent Carter was kind of shit. Like, because you've got Hayley Atwell there, and you've got like a kind of post World War II kind of Cold War scenario. Like, you could do loads of interesting things with that, and it was just garbage. Buckshot says we're in the end game now. I mean, How long will it keep trundling along for? Probably decades at this rate. I love Scotch. Give me £2. Thanks, mate. Discordian says, I was going to see Strange 2 for Sam Raimi alone. Then I saw the trailer and it killed my hopes. You guys are making me look forward to the comedy of the year. Yeah, I mean, if you're expecting a Sam Raimi movie, you're not really going to get it. It's little. There's little glimpses of it, little moments that are like, oh, cool. I see some of his tropes, some of his style coming through. But it's like someone from Marvel just almost came swooping in when he was filming those scenes. It's like, no, Raimi, you need to get back on script. Stop having fun. You need to kill that individual thought right there and just get back on the Marvel formula. Hussein Hassan said, honestly, just finished watching Doctor Strange and it was an absolute travesty. Don't want to ruin anything, as was right. He was. Benjamin Carr Jones says, there was an edit of a clip from Doctor Strange. Wanda was acting like a monster, but instead it played sad music. I want to perish. Reet Pattis says, Doctor Strange 2 feels so forced to contrive. Nothing feels organic. Everyone feels so one-dimensional, and I can practically see the plot strings controlling the characters. I mean,
yeah,
sums it up pretty well. Is it true as well? Like the Illuminati scene, all of their roles were filmed separately, so they were never actually in a room together.
That's what's being said, and if you rewatch it, it does feel that sterile. That there's nothing. There's just nothing binding anything there. It's all just a show. As weird as it is to say that.
Is it true that there's like a clip of Elizabeth Olsen just totally not recognizing who John Krasinski is?
Yeah, she says,
like I've never met this man in my life.
Yeah, which is kind of hilarious. She said she doesn't watch the Marvel movie she's in as well, or at least she hasn't since Endgame, I think is what she said.
Okay. Bearfax says 12 Angry Men is epic. We dissected that film in my senior religion class back in high school 40 years ago. I've probably watched that film 15 times and can't wait to see your review of it. Well, there you go. My review is done, and if you go to my second channel, you can see it. But yeah, I couldn't say enough good things about it. Really loved it. It's kind of a masterclass in like good, detailed, consistent characterization. Just the amount of thought, like even if you just watch each character's reactions to certain things and like the order that they do certain decisions in, it all stays consistent throughout the movie, and it's just genius bit of writing. Really, can't fault it.
Yeah.
Hussein Hassan also says, do you think Russell T Davies can save Doctor Who? I guess we'll have to try and answer for him. Based on what the new actor seems to be saying, and straight away going into the whole identity politics thing, I'm thinking Russell's got his work cut out for him on this one.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't think it's looking good, put it that way. Jim Junkie 35 says Star Wars Expanded Universe is better than Disney Star Wars. Ask RK. I wouldn't disagree. Chris Nicholson says worst part of Rise of Skywalker. Every time Rey fights, Finn stands 100 feet away shouting "Rey" at the top of his lungs. Just once, I wanted them to stop fighting to ask him what he wants.
Dude, you're ruining the vibe. Like,
I love the idea that Rey's like secretly trying to get away from Finn. Like he's just this fucking dork that follows her everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm fine, just leave me alone. Enough Dwarves to Kill a Bear said Moon Knight finale, Khonshu versus Amit, ancient gods from the dawn of civilization, and all they can do is punch each other.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's
really so nonsensical. Like, what can we do to make this interesting? I don't know. They both turn giant and then fight next to the pyramids. Yeah, okay, fine. Just do that.
Yeah, it's what the people want, I think. And you're like, okay.
Joe Themic says, with all these terrible sequels using original actors, doesn't it make sense for actors to start demanding better treatment of their characters? in contract to protect their career legacies. I mean, it would, but when you're up against studios like Marvel and Disney, what the fuck can you do? You know, I think they've got the bargaining power.
Yeah.
I mean, I did say this before, like, I don't know, man. If I'd been Mark Hamill, for example, and then I'd been given the script for Last Jedi, I'd be tempted to just no-show it and just be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna go to set and perform this. Sorry, like you can sue me if you want, but I'm just not doing it." Yeah, I don't know what the repercussions would be for that. Would they just absolutely ruin you?
Imagine publicly like this suing of Mark Hamill because he refused to read the lines of Luke Skywalker, and then it came out what the lines were, and we're all just like, wow.
Because I imagine there's so many layers of protection for them, because he would then have an NDA that he would have to sign before he could even see the script, and so he wouldn't be able to talk about what's in it without breaking that, and then they could sue him again. But man, it would be glorious to watch.
Yeah.
The absolute meltdown. Pavel Sevchik says, "Hey Drinker, I know you're a fan of Boom Boo Rum. I am indeed. You should definitely try Boom Boo XO. It's a whole new level." Okay. What's different about it, I wonder? I need to learn this. Is it just aged more? Seriously, if you like drinking rum more, get some Boom Boo. It's awesome.
Is it the best rum?
It's got notes of caramel and stuff in it. And I don't normally get all arty-farty like that with drink, but like, yeah, that deserves it. That's a small batch rum. Okay. So the only difference... All right. There's a question here. What's the difference between Boom Boo and Boom Boo XO? The only difference is the color of the bottle and the metal X on the front of the bottle. Fair enough. Okay. Either way, it's good rum. Boogie Boo says, "Drinker, got my plushie and couldn't be happier. My wife and son both asked why it was holding a chicken leg, to which I replied, go away now." That's the perfect answer as well. Igosnerakwin says, "Instead of as plushies, I'd rather have as an as waifu pillow. It would fill the void of Sargon's pillow that I could not get." That is tragic. You couldn't get Sargon's, but yeah, an as pillow would sort you right out. OMG Puppies said, "If you look at something in a mirror, you see left and right reversed. Why doesn't it reverse top and bottom?" Good question. We need a physicist to answer this one. Elijah Hayden says, "Hail Drinker, my plushie arrived last week and has joined my Longman and Ragsies." Aww. So the gang's together. I actually want to see Azzy's one. I want to see what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
From North Jersey says, "Az, how much did they pay you to play that woman on the bridge of Avenue 5 of Avenue 5? Or is that your long lost twin sister playing Sarah? We'll never know. Sadly, he's not here to answer for you." Figs93 says, "Hail Drinker, Az and Mauler. Good news. James Corden is leaving his talk show in the States and is heading back to England."
No.
Excited or what? Now you guys can keep him. Keep James Corden.
It's not fair. Why should we have to take him?
Can we send him to Ukraine or something, like
maybe
on a goodwill tour? Daniel Monroe says, "My Drinker plushie has a random request. Top 5 most brutal movie or TV deaths. He wants tips for your birthday next year." Lovely. This could be a good one, actually. What would we say are the most brutal deaths in any movie or TV? I was thinking about this a little bit when I spoke to Mark Ralston the other week, and I mentioned like how Drake gets killed by the acid getting like sprayed on his face. It's like that's got to be a pretty horrific way to go. This stuff just like slowly eating its way through to your brain.
Yeah,
you know that's it's not going to be a quick one necessarily, but it would be like pretty horrific.
Guess you got Raiders of the Lost Ark getting melted by the Ark. I don't know if that'll be up there in terms of a rough way to go.
There's the death in Bone Tomahawk where a guy gets scalped and he eats it, and then they kind of like just cut him in half, like down the middle. Like that's pretty rough,
dude. It's like I'm pretty sure it's the sounds that they had for that really. Ugh.
They get you. They really get you. Other ones. I always thought the death scene in. Have you seen 28 Weeks Later?
Yes.
So when like Robert Carlyle, he like gets reunited with his wife and she's infected with the virus, but she's like asymptomatic, and then he kisses her, but then he like gets infected and like kind of gouges her eyes out and like
It's
rips her
fucking
neck open.
horrible. And I'm sure
But it's
she
the fact that
regretted.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
she's like strapped in as well, so she can't even defend herself or anything. It's like awful.
He
Yeah, that's pretty
infects the
bad.
whole town, basically, doesn't he?
Yeah, just from that. So yeah, they're pretty bad, I would say. I think as well, like anything where a person gets like dismembered or whatever, it's always going to be pretty awful way to go.
Honorable mention to Jurassic World, the Babysitter. The most hilarious, like over the top death for any character ever.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's just like really unnecessarily like sadistic for a character that's never done anything wrong.
She's only done things right. She's just trying to look after some kids, and they keep running off.
Yeah,
it's cruel.
I'm just looking to see what chat's got to say about this as well. There's a good one. The best death in a movie is Cabin in the Woods when the control room guy gets killed by the merman.
Yeah.
That's a nice bit of irony. I loved how disappointed he was that he never got a merman. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 7. Yeah, there's some pretty bad deaths in that one. Like, oh yeah, that one that counts. Yeah, so the guy who, gets strapped to a table and then just like kind of sliced up, and you know, it's the fact that like he even explains to him like, yeah, I've got you full of adrenaline, so you can't pass out, and yeah, that's pretty bad.
And he's got a mirror above him so he can watch it all.
Yeah.
Damn. Dude.
Robocop, the guy that gets dumped in the toxic waste. I think the best part of that was just that when he gets hit by the car, he doesn't even get knocked over the hood. He just kind of explodes all over it.
Yeah.
There's some great ones there. Joe Black, Scarface, the chainsaw. Yep. There was one here. Fuck, it's gone by. Oh yeah, this one. Come on, ping up. Yeah, Benicio del Toro in License to Kill. He gets like caught up in like a giant industrial mincer and just pulled into it. And it's a Bond film. It's like it's so like gory and over the top in that. Like fucking hell.
Some deaths in some Bond films that are like, ooh.
Yeah. In that one, like the Timothy Dalton era, that's when it just went really like hardcore action thriller. Like you couldn't really imagine that in a Roger Moore movie, put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we could get caught up in this and end up talking about it all night. I'll need to move on. Next one is John Orchard, who says, when does the Tatiana plushie come out? I like you, but I like women. Well, that's fair play. Yeah, we'll get back to you on that one. I'll see how she feels about coming out in plushie form. But that was the last one from the other night. So that is those ones done and dusted. I guess I'll just see if we can finish the ones that have come in while we've been doing this here. Yeah. Antiphon says, thanks for making great videos, Drinker. It's my pleasure. Night King 01 says, speaking of Mark Ralston, I don't know why I didn't know that he played Norman Osborn. It's literally his likeness. So underrated. Best Deathstroke voice. Indeed, yeah, he got into a lot of voice acting later in his career. B says, use this to purchase another blow-up doll. Yeah, I keep bursting mine. Then you can have a 3-way. Keep up the good work. Cheers, matey. Mayor McCheese says Obi-Wan wokeness will make Doctor Strange 2 wokeness look like nothing. KK laughs at the MCU's version of wokeness. She would never let Cap Marvel lose in 1 minute. She would never have lost if it had been a man. Like if Wanda had been a male sorcerer, that wouldn't have happened. But,
well, you know, when they start stacking the cast with women, they have no choice but to have them fight, and they have to pick. Eventually, they have to go, all right, is it Scarlet Witch or is it Captain Marvel? And it's like, and that's possibly the most interesting it'll ever get, because they actually have to figure out which will piss everyone off less that they capitulate to.
I think Gary summed it up as well. Like that fight, they kind of die in order of oppression. Like,
Yeah,
the
funnily
straight
enough,
white men get killed first.
because I didn't know who Black Bolt was. So I was like, so how did you put him above Reed then? He was like, he's a king. I was like, oh.
There's always something. Next one is Edit Man, who says, do you guys oftentimes question the education level of the current writers in Hollywood? How did they get their jobs compared to talented people who didn't? I think it's usually, I just kind of assume it's like nepotism and box ticking and stuff now.
It's not experience.
No. Well, you know, look at the guys who are the showrunners now for The Lord of the Rings, or for Rings of Power, sorry. Like the most expensive TV show of all time, and their credits are like fuck all.
Yeah.
Like, how did they get that job? Nathaniel Aranda says, opinions on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I think I've only seen about like 20 minutes of that, so I couldn't really give you a definitive opinion. I don't know if you've seen it more.
Back in the day, and I remember liking it. It's a silly, fun movie, from what I remember.
Cool. Unhinged says, I like these catch-up streams because I'm at home and I can fap properly. Well, we aim to please, so you know. I hope you're pacing yourself out, you know, because these go on for like an hour or two. Michael Dinos said, would Doctor Strange 2 have been better if the movie was just the first act extended and fixed for some of the more idiot moments? I don't think so, really. I mean,
I don't know. That's the kind of film where it would be like, what tweaks would you make? It's like rewrite the whole thing, the ground up.
That's my tweak. Change the entire film.
Yep.
Gunstar1 says, Drinker, are you aware of the fan theories from Warhammer 40k that say Event Horizon was the first ship to encounter the warp? I am, yeah. It comes up every time I mention it in chat. It's like, yep, that's what happens when you go into the warp without a Geller field. You all go insane and have a big orgy and kill each other, and then you get splattered across the wall.
Yay.
That's it. That's what the warp will do to you. Jay Tiger says, thoughts on Kenobi leaks? I've avoided them because, you know, I'm so excited about this show. I just want to go into it fresh.
Oh, have you not heard about the big one?
Oh, go and tell me then.
So, and I'm paraphrasing, okay? But from what
he's gay for Anakin, isn't he? Just admit it.
The Inquisitor lady, who everyone's expecting is going to become pretty main, who's probably going to become a good guy by the end, will find Luke and the others, and she will decide to spare them, and Vader will kill her for it.
We'd said this when we were discussing it. We theorized all these different things. She would either have Obi-Wan or Mercy, because she would beat him, obviously, in a lightsaber battle because she's so stunning and brave, and then spare his life, or that she would find Luke. I think it was Az who suggested this, actually. She would have Luke and be prepared to kill him and then back off at the last second because she's secretly a good guy underneath it all.
But yeah, we're going to be altering the history to be this hero Inquisitor lady is going to be the reason that Luke had a chance. It won't be Kenobi.
She was never going to be a proper bad guy, though, was she? Like a character like that. She was always going to be like a misunderstood hero who comes good in the end.
Not long until we get to find out.
I love modern writing. I would genuinely love to see the list of rules that writers get given now that you have to adhere to. You know, the do's and don'ts of how you write certain characters, and just like, okay, this insane web of like contradictory, you know, dictation and stuff about what you're allowed to do, and it's like you've got to try and tell an original story within that framework. Yeah, good fucking luck. Slack Attack says Rings of Power will be praised by fans who enjoy flashy visuals and the fact that Lord of the Rings shows up in the title. What self-respecting Tolkien fan wouldn't be pissed off? Keep up the great work, Drinker. Thank you, yeah, and I'll document its release. I'm looking forward to seeing it, put it that way. Okay, Composite said Doctor Strange 2 had a lot of problems, but at least it was different. Want to field this one, Muller?
I think taking a shit in space would feel different. I wouldn't recommend it.
Now you've got me wanting to try it. You wouldn't even have to push it; it would just kind of get pulled out of you.
Yep.
Uh,
Great.
Matthew Spates says, Part 1, by the way, Drinker, short of you as Mauler and Gary, I'm out. Talked to multiple normies. They all love Doctor Strange and are excited for Obi-Wan. They know it's crap, but want to watch anyway, and I have no hope left. They just want to consume no matter how crap it is. I think that's where we've got to, really, isn't it? I don't know if that... Has this all just been like a gradual exercise in how much you can dumb people down?
But that would require that they're aware of how shit their script is, and I am not sure that they are.
Do you think it's just if you throw enough nice visuals in and some half decent acting, then they'll just ignore the rest? They'll be like, "Yeah, it's great. Of course it is. I don't want to think about it."
You know, certainly for the higher ups, depending on how much money is brought in, decides how good that script was. That's it as far as it goes. Because if it didn't make money, you know, like The Northman, for example, it hasn't made the money everyone would have liked that it did. It's like people will there'll be conversations about like how what was wrong with the script then, and it might be like it might be there was nothing wrong with it. It's just that it doesn't have enough appeal.
Yeah, I think it was well when we had Paul Chatto on, you know, he's like a former network executive. And he said before, straight up, it's like, as a network executive, your job isn't to produce good content, it's to produce profitable content.
Yeah.
The rest doesn't matter. And that's, yeah, I can imagine that's like time 10 now. On a positive note, though, Grimnack28 says, finally watched Arcane for the first time. Thank God I waited so I could enjoy something in this hellish timeline that we're in. Cheers, gents and high rags.
Yeah, Arcane was neat. And as I said to Trigger, we're being punished for that. Still.
Yeah. Yeah. You enjoyed something? Wow, we'll put that right. John Orr Games says, seen Breakers. It's good on Sci-Fi Channel. Or sorry, Sci-Fi Central. Breakers. I haven't seen it.
No, I haven't even heard of it, I don't think.
Jake Boylan says, Hail Drinker, do you think we'll get the same Maverick from the original Top Gun, or will the writers end up screwing up all the characters from the original? I don't think they'll screw it up, mainly because Tom Cruise is in it, and I think he's got enough pulling power that he would be able to say no to a script that wasn't up to spec for him. You know, for some reason, I kind of trust it to do a good job. Maybe it's just like him having a big ego and just not willing to get upstaged by anyone. You know, I think maybe that could work in his favor here.
We shall see.
Indeed. Disneyfied Sunquist says, Drinker and Mauler, cheers for making our days so much better. Quick question. What would you like to see from Anakin in the new Kenobi series? Love ya.
Prequel scenes that flesh out him and Obi-Wan's connection much better than the prequels did. That would be a dream for me. I'd be like, yes, that's really good as an addition. Vader scenes, I don't want to see Vader, to be honest with you. So I don't even know.
I've got this horrible feeling you're going to see prequel scenes from the point of view of the female Inquisitor.
Good
like
God.
Showing that she was kind of there, like actually making all this stuff happen in the first place. I tell you, man.
It's like, how did Count Dooku actually lose the fight? Well, you see, she had a laser pointer in the background. She put in his eye, and he went and then that's how Anakin beat him.
Like, that's the level to fall to, honestly. And she'll be like, man, Obi-Wan, I saved your life so many times.
Yeah, I've always been there. Always been there.
Josiah Fitch said, you fail upwards in Hollywood, true. Or to put it another way, you rise to your level of incompetence. I think they go quite a bit beyond their levels of incompetence in Hollywood now, to be fair.
Yeah.
Puerto Rican Sasquatch says, stopped caring after Endgame. Cheers, shout out Az. Let's all give Az a shout out. He is lovely. But yeah, I think a lot of people were in that boat. Got to Endgame, that was it. Story told. Claudio Rogojan says, random, but have you guys seen the Mac and Me wheelchair scene? Look it up now. It's hilarious. A friend reminded me of it. Yes,
it gets played every time Paul Rudd goes on Conan O'Brien's show. It's funny as fuck.
Stuyvek B said, I loved your Drinker. not in that way. You and Jordan Peterson are the most influential people in my life. I'm more assertive and trying to be a better man. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I think that's probably more Jordan Peterson than me, but you're probably a drunker man because of me, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
JS Pena says, I'll give you this, drinker. At least you still do super chat catch-ups because Gary has stopped doing them for some reason. Yeah, I thought he was still doing all that stuff.
I would assume if he's taking time with it, it's just collecting and collating them into an order. As far as I know, Gary's still doing them.
Yeah. Claudio Rogajan says, don't know if I mentioned, Angry Joe gave his first 0 out of 10 for the second to last episode of Picard. I think watching that man angry is hilarious.
Dude, Angry Joe's a mystery to me. He's like, Picard is a 0, the fucking Halo show, like a 0. How could anybody who likes these things even dislike a thing? And I'm just sitting there like, I mean, didn't you say the Boba Fett show was awesome? Like,
yeah.
Come on, let's not throw stones. But at the same time, it's funny to see a more, let's say, mainstream critic who's been around for fucking ages just absolutely rail into Picard and Halo. Halo, it's good stuff.
I'm looking forward to watching the Red Letter Media for the final episodes. Like I watched the ones
the second the stream finishes.
Yeah, I watched the ones for the previous episodes, and there was a really sad bit near the end of it where Mike just got kind of serious, and he's like, "This is it. Like I think I'm done with Star Trek now. This show has successfully killed my love for this franchise." And I think he likened it to like Stand By Me, where the kids all go off on this adventure, and like they kind of come back and they've left their childhoods behind, I think, because of their experiences. And he's like, yeah, I feel like that's me. You know, I've seen the dead body and now I'm a different person, and I don't think I can go back to what I had before. And I was like, shit, like normally you guys are pretty just chill about the whole thing, but like I think this has really got to him.
What I took from it was a little bit more worrying for me in terms of like, I hope this isn't my future, because like RLM in terms of their attitudes always feel like they're like 5 years ahead of me in terms of their passions. Right now they feel like they're in the fucking position of they don't even want to watch any Star Trek at all. And it's like, damn, I hope I don't get to the point where I ever say I don't even want to watch A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back now. I fucking hate it if I end up saying that. I've tried to maintain that no matter what they do to Star Wars, those films exist and they are great and they will never be touched. Like, you can't get to them. But like, I hope that's not my future, where I'm like, you know what? There's been enough shitty Star Wars that I don't even want to watch the original trilogy. It's like, damn.
I do wonder about this. If you get to the point where the bad so heavily outnumbers the good that it just kind of seeps over into the good stuff and taints your view of it. You know,
I hope we don't end up in that position.
Yeah, it's it's kind of a sad thing to see, really. Ginger Rhino said, a guy at my school was defending Wanda because she had trauma. It blows my mind that people think it's an acceptable response to a traumatic event. Exactly. Like, people have horrible things happen to them all the time, but it doesn't like give you an excuse to just turn into an absolute monster and destroy other people's lives. It's such a weird, it's this weird skewed morality that they try to push now in the MCU, where it's like, well, if you've got sad, then it kind of just gives you an excuse to do whatever you want, really, and people can't really criticize you for it. Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Daniel Y says, only the brave. Josh Brolin, Jeff Bridges, true story, bombed a few years back. What the fuck? I don't know enough about it, but it sounds like a good cast. Carrier, a Raccoon City story, says Alien 3 is like the Alien 3 of the Alien franchise. I know what I said. I mean, I can't fault your logic, really. Crystal Wilkie says, Hail Drinker and Mauler, thoughts on the 2011 movie Drive with Ryan Gosling and Bryan Cranston. Great example of a strong, well-developed male character and completely devoid of the message.
I really liked it, but I haven't seen it in forever, so I can't really say much about it.
Poor Four says, for people who enjoy good storytelling, the Legacy of Kain series was just sold off by Square Enix. Yes, so they've sold off a whole bunch of properties now. So they've let go of Eidos, who are now no longer under their control, which means Tomb Raider is also free of them, which is only going to be a good thing. Clutching Dagger Z says, how badly will SJW The Rings of Power flop? I think we'll never know, because it's behind that lovely streaming shield, so we'll never know how many people watched it.
I'm certain they will claim it's doing great and everyone loves it.
Yeah. Best show of all time.
Yeah.
Ginger Rhino says it was a statue of the Dawn, her only weakness. That would have been great. Trucker Mark says, thanks, Critical Drink, for my drinker plushie. Cheers. Nice one. I'm glad you got it. Night King 01. The biggest problem with Moon Knight is that they made Khonshu real. In the comics, there's always a question of whether he's real or he's just being psychotic. That would have been more interesting, actually.
Way more interesting, yeah.
The Dragon's Treasure says, when, if at all, will we hit the point of going past saying, here's what's wrong with these movies, and going to, I didn't watch because why bother? I'm getting there already.
We've given up on movies, haven't we? I don't want to give up on them.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of getting there with Star Trek, where I just straight up said I'm not watching Picard season 2. I made a video saying that. It's like I just don't.
I don't blame you for like, you know, not watching Picard season 3 or something like that. That makes sense to me. But I'm talking about like just general sort of, because like with every MCU movie, for example, we got different people making them each time. I don't know what Love and Thunder is going to look like. I don't. Could be awful. Could be fun. I have no idea. Like, so it's like, so why give it a chance? It's like, well, I guess because I don't know. I just don't know. Guardians 3. I don't know. I don't know what's going to end up being. But the next Michael Waldron project, I imagine it'll be a disaster. So, you know, yeah. It depends. And I think that's kind of consistent with a lot of us. We tend to have our different reasons for whether or not we stick by or give up on different things. But I don't want to give up wholesale and just be like, that's it. I'm only going to watch old things now.
No, totally. And I think with, you know, you move beyond the MCU and just look at like just a random standalone movie comes out. Well, there's a pretty good chance, or it could be good. You never know. That is like, I feel like a much, you know, richer hunting ground for this kind of thing, for finding good content. With something like the MCU, like fucking, they should be counting their blessings that No Way Home was good, because that is the one standout good MCU movie in the past several years. So damn. What's the next one here? Moritz Strittmatter says, aha, you're just so jaded and British. Love from the old enemy in Germany. It's our way. It's the British way. Captain Herring says, will Top Gun Maverick avoid the message? If it doesn't, someone's going to be flying a cargo plane full of rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong. I think it will avoid it. Yeah, like I say, I think because Tom Cruise is involved, I think he just got no time for that shit. Clown Attack says, as a Godzilla fan, it's hilarious and sad that I find some Marvel movies have worse scripts than Godzilla movies. That's where we're at. Kubus SC says, hey drinker, sadly my damn postal delivery took the drinker plush with them again and sent it back to China. Is there a chance to buy it again? Oh man, that fucking sucks. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll do another run of them, so I'll let you know when we've got another plushie on the way. Ryan Gehring says, more drinker fixes, please. But until then, what show or film would be the most intriguing for you to do one of those on? So what would I fix next? I feel like I should fix Doctor Strange too, really.
Oh, fuck, you're going to do that?
Usually my rule with these things is like, I'm not just going to do a wholesale rewrite of it, because that's just like too easy.
Yeah.
I have to take what's there and just try and tweak it a little bit, but fuck, man, that's going to take some tweaking.
I was going to say the broadest I would allow is like, okay, Wanda has to be the villain. Doctor Strange has to travel the multiverse. America Chavez has to be in it. It's like, if those three elements are constant, it's like, all right, we may still be able to make a good movie. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. Mad Ghost 4 says, just watched Hawkeye and Black Widow. Both were meh at best. I have to admit that I enjoyed the Yelena and Kate Bishop. Yeah, like I say, I've not watched Hawkeye. I just got no interest in it. Apparently, it's like the least bad out of the Marvel TV shows, but maybe I'm being optimistic there.
Well, yeah.
I mean, with Yelena, they had a good actress playing her. I didn't really find her that likable in the movie. The real George Washington says, "Love your vids, brother. Thanks, man." Guess I'll die then. Said, "I've been in pre-production for the first season of my TV show in Croatia. How do I write for young audiences without implementing the message?" That's kind of a long answer, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, just take whatever politics that you would try to inject into a film, or that you're being pressured into doing it, and just throw that out the window, and just focus on good characters that make logical decisions that are consistent with their personalities, that should drive a half decent story forward.
Plenty of young people liked movies long ago that were just awesome. All right, maybe if we can have a look at them, see what they did.
Yeah,
I believe in young people. they can like good things again. Finbar White says, top deaths, anything with Sean Bean, he always dies. So what's our top Sean Bean death? I think he had a good death in Goldeneye because he got a fucking giant radio dish dropped on his head. It's kind of unbelievable that once he's landed, he's still alive. You're like, oh god, and then that thing falls. And you're like, oh no.
I'm trying to think of other death scenes that he had that were particularly good.
Ned Stark's a classic, I guess.
Yeah, he just got beheaded. Really, I mean,
normal.
I mean, I'm acting as all nonchalant about that. It's pretty awful, obviously. Just give me a second to refresh this. Oh yeah, here we go. Ransom G says, "Seen Fringy's Endgame video yet? I liked it. I know SK Comics did one too, but I trust y'all, and I don't know who you recommend to listen to on YouTube." Yeah, that's just come out, isn't it? Fringy's one.
Yeah, it's 2 hours long. It's all about how bad Endgame is. I fully recommend it. It's
I haven't got around to it yet. It's I think it's one of those ones, if I'm out for a hike or something, that'd be the ideal thing to put on. Just listen to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be interested to hear his take because I've watched some of his other stuff, and his understanding of characters is just excellent.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Arkady Kovalev says, "Since you enjoyed Alan Ritchson in Reacher, check out Blue Mountain State. It's just a testosterone fest. I'm sold already." The Ferocious Otter said, "Did you see the writer of Doctor Strange 2 said Elizabeth has total ownership over Wanda and Scarlet Witch, and had very specific notes regarding the role, indicating she steered the plot. Thanks, Drinker." What the fuck? Really?
Let's hope not. I wouldn't like to say she's responsible for what we got.
Please, no. Moritz Street Matter says, Tatiana Dakamakura when? I do not know. I'll get back to you. Spencer Stabio says, "Good afternoon, you drunk. Have you seen The Outfit? It's a movie that just came out this year. I personally think it deserves a Drinker Recommends, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Cheers." Haven't seen it yet, mate. Don't know. Finbar White says, "Hey, Drinker, I just watched Total Recall 2012. Why'd you do it? What's best and worst remakes that you've seen? Keep smiling, Drinker, and Mauler." Thank you. Are you smiling, Mauler? You better be.
Oh, of course I am. The best remake of all time is The Thing. John Carpenter. All right.
That's good.
That's the answer.
I really like Cape Fear. I think that was pretty decent.
As you can see, both of our examples are very new.
Yeah. Worst ones. Yeah.
Oh,
where do we begin? We've got Ghostbusters, I suppose. That's pretty bad. Total Recall is up there. Fucking hell, why did they do it? It's bad. Yo-Yo says,
The Fly. That's another great one.
Yes. Yeah. Invasion of the Body Snatchers as well. I think that's the Donald Sutherland one. I got a real soft spot for that one. I think it's a nice little horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the original was the 1950s. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was back then.
Donald Sutherland is still kicking around, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
He's 10,000 years old.
I pretty much, yeah. You'd have to carbon date him now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yo-Yo says, "I just watched Back to the Future Trilogy. Well done. What great writing. All the lines and scenes meant something and had great economy. Everything had set up and payoff. Thoughts? Yeah, I liked movies like that. Also, could you talk a little bit about Daredevil? I think we could talk a lot about Daredevil. I think it probably deserves a video.
I was just very impressed with... I'm not going to forget anytime soon the big rooftop discussion they have for a show to take its time to have two characters explain their differences and their approach to crime fighting. It's just like, that's really cool and interesting, and it's well argued as well. Man, do I miss well argued points. What the fuck was this movie doing? Multiverse of Madness with arguments. Oh my god.
I just love the fact that like they had this great little interconnected universe of Marvel TV shows, and then they just shut them all down in favor of what? Like WandaVision?
Yeah.
You know, why? Why do you do this? Why do you hate us so?
Why do you hate us so?
Yeah. Ben Becker says, if Aliens was written today, it wouldn't be the Alien Queen, it'd be the Alien King. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I could
have a woman on top.
Keeping the funny thing is, Aliens today probably would be a lot worse because they would be like, they would probably make all these weird unnecessary changes when Aliens itself is just like some of the best girl power shit you can get without it actually coming across that way, because it's just that well put together.
The entire Marine squad would just be women. Like, might as well take it to its logical conclusion, I suppose.
The funny thing is, like, plenty of people could tear that movie apart for being like, if they'd be like, oh, you guys probably hate it, especially the scene where Gorman is like losing his shit and the woman has to help him. I should be like, yeah, but it's all set up. It's all set up to be this way. These are all these characters behaving as they were. Oh god, I complimented every time because I really love the fucking movie. It's so good. But having Ripley be like scared and annoyed that the Marines aren't taking her seriously about what happened with this thing on her ship and how awkward it gets for her, because every time she thinks about it, it's all of her friends that got killed and nobody really takes that seriously and nobody cares and they keep calling them bugs and all this shit. And so she's like traumatized while they're all laughing, and then when we get to the actual action, when it's all happening, they're all fucking terrified, and she realizes, like, I've got to step up and sort this out because these guys can't do it.
Yep.
Really satisfying to watch. It's, Ripley was a great character. I don't know what they're going to do to her the next time she pops up.
God. Yeah. She's just a great, like, rational voice of the audience in that movie. You know, like when she's trying to warn the Marines of the danger that they're in, and they're just like venturing into the nest, like like confident that they can take on anything. I think she never comes across as preachy or annoying. It's like, no, she's just giving you sensible like warnings about the danger that you're facing here.
Yeah.
Simon Grindle says, have you heard about Blizzard's new diversity algorithm? I've heard something about this. Does it not like it can scan scripts or something to measure the levels of diversity in them to make sure that they reach this certain level? Fucking hell, man. Yeah, I might as well.
Bring on the dystopia. Why not?
Yeah. Beakim says, thank you, gentlemen, for all your work. Always a lot of fun. Quick question for Drinker. Have you seen the 2007 remake of 3:10 to Yuma? Yes, excellent.
Yeah, I liked
saying
it.
here, excellent good guys and bad guys. I recommend it. Yeah, I liked it. Good movie.
Watching Russell Crowe slowly realize, like, fuck, I like this guy. It's fun. Like,
yeah. Bear Business 01 said, ask Gary for the writing rules from the Roddenberry Foundation. He has made videos about how terrible and limiting they want things to be. I'm not surprised in the slightest, yeah. Nobal Farzoig says, Wanda has an infinite amount of kids that don't know what she did. Why does she care these ones do? Wouldn't she just kill them all and move on? I mean, you'd think so, yeah. Like, why does she get so fixated on one particular set from one universe?
I don't
know. E equals MCG said, oh yeah, this is a good one. One more death scene. The Beast, execution by tank. An Afghan gets ran over by a Russian tank feet first. The clip is on YouTube. It's a toe curling experience. Yeah, I referenced that in my review. That is a horrible way to go because it runs him over really slowly. It's awful. Rob the Builder says, "Drinker, you bum. I've missed your drunken face, man. Hi, Muller. Was rewatching Hot Fuzz yesterday. Can you do the pub lady line again, please?"
Right, you are, my love.
There you go. Benjamin Hatfield, what's up, Drinker? Have you seen Hot Summer Nights? It's a drama thriller starring Timothy Chalamet. I haven't seen that one yet. No.
Neither have I.
Night King 1 said, if Disney hadn't cancelled out the EU, we would have had a Star Wars universe as deep as Lord of the Rings. 150 books with dozens of writers. Now it's as deep as a puddle. Yeah, a puddle of piss.
Oh.
Yeah, they threw out the EU. Dumbest thing they ever did, amongst so many other dumb things. The Libert says, "Hail Drinker, thank you for using my art as avatar." Hey, that's a nice one. Yeah, this is the guy who produced the sort of drawing version of the Drinker there, because it used to be just like a photograph, and he did a lovely piece there. So thanks, man. Snarf says, "Star Trek: Strange New Worlds is fine, even good." Not according to what I've heard. Nobody seems to have anything good to say about it.
It would surprise me, but I haven't seen it.
Big Daddy MRI says, "Your mods are very happy campers, Drinker. Cheers and have a cold one on me. I got my plushie. It's sitting on my shelf with Doomcocks. I heard you guys talking sometimes. Pretty cool. Take care." Thank you, man. And thanks to all my mods, actually, for the awesome stuff that you do. Yeah, you guys just keep all of these chats taking over perfectly, so thank you. Moritz Strip Matter says, "I still love the Chippy by Sean Bean's nephew in Sheffield, which has the meat feast all you can eat on the way to uni." What the fuck? Sean Bean's nephew runs a Chippy in Sheffield. I just love that.
Yeah.
Unhinged says, "Everyone's got dead people. It's no excuse to get everybody else dead along the way. A raccoon is smarter than Wanda." Very true. Yep. And Yadi says, "I hope X-Files will never get touched by woke, talentless writers. The original is already a masterpiece." Yeah, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Don't want it. Don't want anything remade now. Well, anyway, we made it. We got through all our super chats, Muller. It's been another lovely stream. I feel like I'm going to sign off and watch that Red Letter Media review, because I just want to see them lose their minds.
To see, because who knows what they talk about.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for coming in for this. Thanks for my mods for all your great work as always. It's been great, and all the generous super chats. Like, yeah, always blows me away every time. So thank you guys. And I guess we'll catch up with you on Thursday for Open Bar. So sounds good. Should we sign off, Muller?
Okay.
All right. That's all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye-bye.